present. We do have a quorum. Everybody's here. Those who'd like to join me in opening prayer, please do. Lord, look down upon this council and bless us with your wisdom. We hope we act in your spirit. And God bless our town. I ask all of this in your name. Amen. Can I have a approval of the agenda?
I need to amend the agenda to add to 16B voting delegates.
16B voting delegate. Under new business. Any further additions? Second amendment. They've been moved to amend the agenda by adding 16B voting delegates to the Wham convention. I believe is what you said.
Yes.
Any discussion? None being, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed the same. Motion passed in the affirmative. I heard a nay. That motion was made by Councilman Stettler, second by Councilwoman Hartke. No, the other way around. Councilwoman Hartke, second by Councilman Stettler. Communications from citizens.
You want to go or you want to folks up mine first? I don't have a lot to say. Hope there's no question.
Yes, Mayor.
Wind River Visitors Guild. The wayfinding signage project is been finalized, whatever that means, and they're moving forward with the project. That's all I got.
Mine's a little longer. I'm Jeannie Cronky, and I came to let everybody know, I wanted to give you a quick update from the chamber regarding the Citizen of the Year dinner happening this Thursday. We are expecting a great turnout, currently between 100 to 150 people, possibly more. And we're planning and prepared to serve up to 200 if needed. So we're ready for a full house. There's been a lot of excitement around the event, and we've had numerous calls for reservations. And it's been promoted on the radio, County 10, and on social media. We're also very honored to be joined by several legislators, along with Pam Buline from Senator Barrasso's office and Senator Barrasso. We will also have reporters attending dinner, so it's a great opportunity to showcase our community. On the logistics side, I've ordered the main food supplies through Shamrock Foods, our senior center vendor, and have already provided those invoices to Kim. I'll also be picking up additional items, including a cake from Smith's, as well as disposable plates and silverware from Walmart. I came down the other day and Kim and I went through the fire hall and what's down here, so I've got a good idea of what we need. This is shaping up to be a really fun and meaningful evening, and there's a lot of excitement, especially for Kathy Blair, our Citizen of the Year. We're really looking forward to celebrating her and all of the individuals being recognized. Additionally, the chamber will be hosting legislator Paul Hoff from the Cody Powell area on Thursday too. He'll be visiting to explore whether Shoshoni would be a good location for future SAS events, the Single Action Shooter Society. He'll be having lunch at the senior center and then touring the rifle range with Ken Kundle. And then we're going to show him around the town for potential reenactments and related opportunities. Overall, it's a busy and exciting week, and we're really looking forward to everything coming together. It's going to be a huge night on Thursday, so
Appreciate you.
like I said, Kathy is so excited. She's so well deserved of this
does.
honor, and everybody's excited that she's being honored in this way. So we've gotten a lot of phone calls, especially the last week, and I'm excited. It's going to be a good night. So we're opening up the main room of the senior center and also the east room. So hopefully we have enough room.
Jeannie, just a second.
Yes.
That's, we're gonna get the good plates, right?
Yes. Yes.
I thought we
that's-
were. I couldn't remember if we had a discussion about that or not. We may have. I just,
We went through the paper plates. There's a lot of paper plates, but they don't hold up.
No,
with
they
chicken
don't.
Fried steak. So Kim and I had talked about getting the, the Chinette, the hard plastic one.
Right.
So, but Wayne's excited to cook and he's ready. And I've got a ton of volunteers, which is awesome. So all the seniors want to help out, and yeah, it's going to be a fun night. So is there any other questions anybody has? Everybody's coming, right? Yes. Chicken fried steak. Yeah.
yeah, free chicken fried steak. That's a good, plus all the good people that are gonna be there. Again, the time.
6 p.m.
What night again?
Thursday.
This Thursday?
This Thursday, the 26th. Yes. I told Lois she's my date for the night, so she's excited too. It's been the buzz around the senior center, so yeah. And everybody's welcome to come down and volunteer. We're gonna be running around with coffee pots all night.
Any other communications from citizens? Hey, Kyle, when were you gonna, do we have you? I got you. There we are.
Second one, 11.
Yeah, you're, I found you. Very good. Consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes, March 10th, 2026. And March 14th, 2026 workshop.
I'll approve.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Harkey, second by Councilman Whitener, that we approve the minutes. March 10th, 2026, in the workshop, March 14th, 2026. Any discussion?
I'm just gonna abstain. I don't see any issues with the March 10th, 2026, and I was absent for the March 14th, 2026, so I'll just abstain from that vote as I wasn't there.
Okay, so noted. Any other comments? Any discussion? None be, and all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. Note that Councilman Stetler did abstain from the vote because he was not here for the March 14th meeting. Now we're down to appearances from citizens, public presentation.
No,
Bills.
Oh, approval of the bills. Yeah. B, approval of the bills, March 11th, 2026 through March 24th, 2026.
Move we approve the bills from March 11th, 2026 to March 24th, 2026.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Stetler to approve the bill, March 11th, 2026 through March 24th, 2026. Second by Councilman Whitener. Any discussion? Any discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. Now, Mr. Leto, well house update.
Mayor, council, I pulled open the minutes the other day and saw it was on here, so decided I'd be here tonight and give you kind of an update on where things are at with that. Project's pretty well been finished. There's just a couple of things at well 4 that we're waiting to kind of finish up. The transducer, which is, it's basically a wire you put down the well and it measures the level of water over time in the well itself. It hasn't functioned properly since they installed it. And so they've done troubleshooting, trying to figure out what's going on with it. I think what happened was on well 5, when they installed the transducer there, they dinked the wire when they were installing it. And so they ended up pulling that one back out. And I think there was some issues with the motor at the time on 5. So when they replaced the parts on the motor, they went ahead and put one of the other transducers they had ordered down hole and sent that one in for repairs. And my guess is that's the one that they got back that was repaired, in air quotes. And I don't know that the repair took. And so Rob's been working back and forth with the supplier, and Dusty's been troubleshooting, trying to get things sorted out. And so I think they've come to the decision to just put a new transducer down. I think the one that they have now, the cable's vented, and they're gonna go with an unvented version. And that's what's going on with that. I saw at the May 10th council meeting, council approved that change order for the eye wash station. And so that'll, Rob's got that ordered and they'll get that taken care of, and that'll pretty much button up the project. That's the only 2 things that are really hanging out there, is just getting those 2 things done, and we'll do a final walkthrough and just make sure that Mike and Mike don't have any like outstanding items or warranty issues, and we'll get them paid out finally on that and close it out. So we did put in a 41-day advertisement, so that should sometime in April kick that loose, but I'd recommend we just hold payment till they get everything done. So and I think Rob's good with that. He's in all likelihood, we'll just have one last payment application to, square everything up as far as quantities and just make sure that everything's done. So any questions for me on the project?
Is this wire, that something they're covering some of this stuff that's getting covered by warranty work, or what is?
Yeah, I just told him we're not gonna pay him for a transducer that's not working, so.
Good job.
Yeah.
That's,
So
that's.
I held back some payment on that on one of our last payment
Mhm.
requests, and so I just said, initially it was working, but only when the pumps were shut off. And so there was showing some kind of interference, and so then Dusty troubleshot it with what the supplier told him to do and did something different, and it's just not reading at all. And so I just said, well, we can't pay you for something that's not working. So that's what's going on with that.
Anybody, anything else?
I have an off-topic question for you. But there's been a little bit of squeaky wheels about our water. Can you just give us an explanation on that being safe and drinkable?
I think Mike can probably speak to that more than I can, but
Perfect.
from what I can tell or speak to is having the tank offline isn't gonna impact the quality of water whatsoever. So it sounds like maybe there was some just from what I heard, just sitting in here before the meeting, sounds like maybe there was some complaints about smell or something with chlorine, and so they've made a couple of little adjustments to that, and You know, it's just, it is what it is, that it doesn't have the tank to kind of settle some of that out. And so it's just getting direct lined into town currently. And it's really, that's the only thing that's different, is it's just not going to the tank. So, I don't know. Mike will probably speak to that a little bit better. But I think he's next on the list.
I wonder how many homes out in rural Fremont County has well water.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Without
I'd
the
rather
quality
have a little bit
control.
of a chlorine smell than a rotten egg smell.
Yeah.
That's just me.
But without the safeguards we have here in Shoshone.
Well, five's kind of been stinky off and on since I moved here. It hasn't changed and it probably will not change.
I also, if, I don't know if it's eligible in the agenda or not, but I got an update on the sidewalk project too. If you wanted to do that. Otherwise, we can put a pin in it. But
We're not gonna vote on anything
yeah,
about
but
it.
I can at least
Whether
give you kind of an update on what's going on with that.
anybody see an issue with that, Marshall? No, I don't either, so.
All right. So the sidewalk project, we got that all closed out in December, if you remember, and we were waiting for YDOT to come do a final walkthrough with us. Well, they happened to stop by when nobody else was here and walk through and put some stuff like measurement stuff on some different parts and pieces, and came back with a couple of things they felt we needed to do some corrections on. So one of them is there at the rest area. Those ramps that we replaced going up into the rest area itself.
The handicap ramp,
The handicap ramps, even though we didn't touch anything else except for just the ramps. Where the corner of the ramp is to the edge of the grass, there's not 4 feet of space there. And so ADA requires that you have to have a 4-foot bypass there. So they want us to pour a couple little triangular pieces of concrete in the park to make that workable. And so the other thing that they found was there on Oregon Street, on the north side on Oregon Street. There's those corner ramps that we put in there. So there's an ADA compliance requirement that if you have like the ramp coming in from the sidewalk, you're have like a maximum ramp slope of 8.33 that comes in there, and then there's a slope for the gutter that comes back up to the road. And basically you can't have the maximum you can have is 8.33 and 5 coming back this way. Well, what we have is we have a really flat slope where the actual ramp would be, and then we have a real flat slope on the road. And where we actually have a ramp slope is in the gutter. And what they're saying is that normally in any other situation, when you're doing ADA grades, you'd have like a ramp, which is between 5% and 8.33%. Anytime it's over 5, it's considered a ramp, and then you can't be higher than 8.33. And whenever you have a ramp, you have to have a landing at the top and the bottom. What they're saying is where that gutter pan is, it can't be over 5%. And we were treating it like a ramp, so it's over 5%. And so basically they want us to go ahead and replace those corners to meet that requirement. And so I had some back and forth with state on this, and I talked with some of our EDA experts in HCR that are kind of on the national level, just to confirm that what they're saying is correct. But it's such a unique situation there that it's just I think it's just kind of, yeah. In any case, what it comes down to is in order to meet ADA requirements, and have the project, have the town not be liable in the future for a lawsuit from somebody with an ADA complaint. So the state's recommending we replace those corners. So, I've got a change order in the works, to take care of those two items. It'll be around 26,000. To get them here and to have them, fix the stuff there at the rest area and also fix those two corner ramps. The state is conferring back and forth to determine if, like, my recommendation is that we just pay the contractor because we've got the budget still on the grant. Like, we're under quite a bit under budget still. The town's share is going to be pretty minimal on 26,000 for that. And I feel like we gotta just get them paid and get them out of here. They've done a really good job for us. And I feel like they're, the detail that kind of talks about this is not as clear as it maybe should be, especially in the unique situation that we have. And so that's my recommendation. Now, the state may come back and say, no, we feel like the contract documents say the contractors are responsible for ADA grades. And even though this is a wonky, weird situation, we're going to stick it to them. I just don't think that's fair personally. And so I did send an email today recommending what I just had said before about just trying to get them paid. But anyways, that's kind of where that's at. Once we get this resolved, these guys should be here in the next week or two. So
Is this a 80-20 grant?
it's,
94.73. Or sorry, 92.7. We pay 9.5. Or 90.49, we pay 9.
yeah, it's
So basically, 90-10.
10% is what you'll be on there for.
Around, it costs town about $2,600.
No, it's gonna cost you guys
Because it's
whatever,
26,000, I'm just going 10% of 26,000.
yeah, 2,600. So,
My math serves me. If it's, those are round numbers.
and that's if the state goes for what I'm recommending. If they decide to stick it to Ryman, it's unfortunate, but it's kind of is what it is. But I'm trying to be fair to them because it's like this. I wouldn't, looking at the detail, that's not how I saw it. And
Well, how did the state approve the plan? Are
they approved the plans. It's just when they got out there, he was looking at some of the grades there and he stuck his smart level on it and came back and said, well, here's the issue I see. And so I kind of pushed back on it, because to me, you got a landing and you got a landing and you got a ramp. Anywhere else in the world that seems, legitimate, except for apparently this one case where you're got a gutter be over 5%. I mean, it's, and really, I can pass this detail around if you're interested, but the intent of this detail is so that if you have a wheelchair, the wheelchair usually has like a footrest on it. When you've got a counter slope, they don't want that foot to rest and kind of catch. And so I don't feel like in the situation we have, you're going to have that happen. But needless to say, from an ADA standpoint, that 5% max is a 5% max on that. So
what does the council think?
I'm not in a position to argue with the state inspectors about ADA compliance.
No,
What
I'm
I
not
think.
either.
You don't want to know what I think.
Well, what we're saying, okay, well, we got the funding, the state. They will allow us to spend the funding that we haven't expended because we're under budget, is what you're saying.
that's what I'm
He
saying is
requested.
we haven't used all the grant and I don't just from our standpoint, HDR isn't gonna bill out all of what we had estimated for construction. I don't remember what our last invoice was, but I think I can't remember how much we have on our not to exceed fee amount, but.
193, I think.
So I know we haven't used all of ours, so. What we haven't used in our fee would cover that anyways.
So the ramp you said is under 8.3 though.
Yeah, it's flat, so we have like basically a landing where the ramp normally should be.
And then it goes up.
And then it climbs up right where the gutter is, but it's steeper than 5%. And then you get up to the road and it's flat again, like the landing. And that's the way we were looking at it was.
So I could understand what you're saying off the diagram. In the valley, you'd hit, but if there's not a valley, you're not gonna hit.
That's what I thought, but I apparently was wrong.
It took a lot for you to say that.
I don't.
I'll
believe I've
admit
ever
what
heard
I'm
those
wrong.
words out of
I
your
was
mouth,
wrong
Mr.
about
Lano.
that, so, you know.
I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
Well, I'm trying to get better.
It's on YouTube.
But I do have a change order here, at some point, you know, I know that we can't vote on it tonight because it wasn't on the agenda and whatnot, but
Right.
we'll get it rolled up for the next one.
Kick around and see where we're at. I don't want the town on the hook for $26,000.
Right.
As my thoughts. And we want to be fair to the contractor and everybody involved, and we want to follow 80. I mean, we try to do it right. So it'll be maybe a topic for, appreciate the information. That'd be a topic for maybe our next council meeting.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
mean-
for sure, especially if they approve it. If they don't, then I'll have to change up the email that I sent with the information on here. And just basically if the state says, well, we're only gonna cover this, then that's what we'll change it to and see if the contractor wants to fight with us or not, so. Cause they may push the issue and say, I don't see that in the detail, but that's kind of up to them to fight that battle. I'll fight them. I'll fight for them a little bit here to try and get them paid, but if it comes down to it and they want to fight back and forth with the state, I'll just be the intermediary, really, so.
You get a second opinion from the state on that, a different inspector,
They tend, well,
or is there only one?
they could, yeah, I mean, they could send it down to Cheyenne, because this was from District 5, and they could send it down to Cheyenne and get a second opinion, but like I said, I talked with one of our HDR guys on the national level, and he's like, yeah, they're right. I'm like, all right, because if he'd have said, no, that doesn't make any sense, it's what the detail shows.
Ryman Corp's a pretty reputable corp,
Yeah.
and they, yeah, I mean. and it's-
Well, and they do a lot of this work all
That's
over
what
the
I'm saying.
state, so, I mean, like I said, this is a pretty unique situation. And so it's a one-off sort of thing, so that's why I feel comfortable making a recommendation to get them paid, because it is a weird situation, so.
It'd be best case scenario.
In any case, thanks for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Mike, Public Works, please.
Good evening, Mayor High Smith, council members. Well, he gave an update on the wells. I only have an update on our tank project that we started. We took the tank offline last Wednesday, March 18th. And we have it running strictly on well number 5. At the beginning, we had some issues with the pressure. I have a hydrant relief valve on 4th and 8th Street on the hydrant down here. And I set it to 80 PSI. So we're kind of running, as long as I have 103 PSI at the wellhead, I can maintain the, at least a 78, 79 PSI without it relieving the pressure. So that should give everybody water. I mean, enough pressure. At the beginning, we lost pressure because everybody started using water and we had to adjust the flow. With that, when we told everybody we were gonna do this, and then it seemed like they all started using water at once, wanted their share of the water, the way people normally do, you know. When you tell them something, they're gonna say, well, I need my water, I'm gonna take it now. Because I was running like 118, 120,000 gallons a day from pushing water here, but now I'm down to, this morning I was down to 84,000. Which normally we run 62,000 during around about this time, 56 to 62,000. So we've come down quite a bit now. I told Mike as well, maybe people finally figured out they're gonna have water, they don't need to freak out. So that's where we are.
That's a significant reduction from 120,000.
Yeah, that
Down to
was,
80 some, and it was average is only 60,000
Yeah.
this time of year.
yeah. So we're slowly coming down there. And it's like I told Mike, people are finally figuring out they're gonna have water, you know, there's no need to freak out, start using all they can. But it's all right to water at night and even anytime after 9:30, the water pressure increases. Seems like everybody quits using water then. Is that we figured that out by Mike has been coming in checking it. He takes his last check around about 10:30.
Yeah.
But in between 10:30 and 6 o'clock in the morning, we are pushing water out down there. We're over 80 PSI. So,
Yeah.
but I had Bart put all the sprinklers on for nighttime. That for 10, 12, 1, and 3. So that it relieves some of that pressure. We're not wasting it out in that field.
That's the best time to water a yard anyway, so it
Yeah.
doesn't evaporate during the day.
So that was what we kind of had those problems there. And another problem I had was getting the valve shut off to the tank. The valve that's by the tank inside the vault, I only got that thing turned eight times, eight turns, using a pipe wrench as a cheater. And I couldn't turn it anymore. Kept working it back and forth and just wouldn't go. I didn't want to break the stem, so I quit doing that and went down and used the other valve down by the valve cluster. That one got it mostly shut off, but there was still some water coming into the tank. And they couldn't, they can't sandblast with water in there, going in there, so I got a inflatable plug that I put in there, pumped it up, aired it up. It's still the majority of it, but it's still on the sides. It was bubbles coming out just here and there. There was still getting water in there. It was probably because of the rust and that's inside there. It wouldn't seal right. And I didn't want to pop it. We took it up to 22 pounds. It's rated at 25 pounds. So I reverted to plan B. My plan B was to go down below the tank by the valve cluster, expose the line, cap it, put it in incorporator stop, put a piece of pipe on there, open it, and relieve that pressure, which I did. And that it's working now, and they're sandblasting away up there. Yeah, so that took care of the water problem in that tank. But I had to call in B&M to tap I don't have a tap for ductile iron. That
Okay,
line is
yeah.
still ductile. So that's one of the old lines that was originally in there. But we got that squared away last night. And like I said, they're sandblasting now. They got about maybe a little over half, bottom of 3 foot high, 3 foot, well, we're out of that tank now. So we're doing some more and more. But That's where it stands with that thing. I mean, it was a nightmare trying to stop the water. I was gonna have a plan B. And this figure, was it smell, the taste, or what, of the water?
I had no complaints.
I didn't notice any.
Somebody
issues
got
in our
on,
house.
Facebook and asked if that was normal, and then, of course, everybody else chimes in.
Yeah.
So I would like to read you my response, but the post has since been deleted.
It was a good
Yeah.
call to delete it.
I didn't make the post, but I think my comment touched on very many points regarding the well system.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't, well, nobody really talked to me about it, but I know there's a lot of chlorine in there. It's just that I don't have flow pace at well 6. So we have to manually adjust. And I had Mike turn it down again this morning. Because we were getting pretty high readings on the residuals. But that's, I mean, I drink the water here and everything, I mean, I don't smell, I don't smell funny, it don't taste funny. I mean, I've been drinking this water since I've been working here. And I got no problems with it.
If I notice you're not drinking, I'll be concerned.
Yeah,
As long as you're drinking, I figured we're good.
I mean, I take care of the water, so I drink it. I mean, I see everybody else walking around bottled water, and I'm buying bottled water for everybody. It's like, well, why? I got good water.
Yeah.
Waste of money to me. I mean, the water in them plastic bottles is probably worse than tap water. Most of it is tap water, plus in there you're getting the microplastics off of that bottle and whatever else it's made out of. You're getting more chemicals in your body.
I actually heard someone that was a discussion recently about that. I didn't realize that there were those microbes coming off the plastic, drinking bottled water. But, yeah, I didn't realize that, but I guess it's true. Someone said
Especially
it.
if they get hot.
I don't know.
I drink Riverton water during the day, and
You gotta be tough.
you gotta be tough to drink that stuff. Casper water, oh,
Cowboy water.
good lord. I'm not gonna complain about ours.
No.
And over at the trailhead, they finally got the metal roofing on, the tin on the existing structure. And they built the new structure on the cement slab that was poured last year. That's all that's been done down there so far. And Mike and I, we dug up the 4-inch valve that was full of sand, dirt, cleaned that out, turned that water on, see if it will work. So it shot water out where that old bathroom was at. So they'll get water once they dig it up and put it in a curb stop gutter.
Yeah.
That works. But there's a fitting out right across the road from that valve where it's got a broken shut off ball valve on it. Looked like it froze. So, but talking with Buddy, he said Michelle wanted to keep that open so she could, he said they were thinking they were going to plant trees again or something. But they never drained it. It broke. Because once we turned the water on, that's where water come out. That's about all I got. Any questions?
No, I want to commend you and your crew on the good job on this. You had a lot of planning and thought forward, and you addressed the issues and was working on the pressure, trying to get it right. I mean, I thought it went fast, and you guys had a plan, worked a plan. I just thought you did really, really well. Just they had to be cautious and not try to put in too much pressure, too much water, and try to work into.
Well, one other thing I had is burn permit. Anybody want to put in a burn permit was the red flag warnings and me not having any water.
Well, I wonder when the wind is, how much longer we're gonna have wind,
you asking him to answer that?
Well, he may be closer to that than I am. I can't, I looked out our forecast for the next 10 days and there's,
It's gonna be hot next 10 days.
yeah. But
Cause usually I put in for the burn permit around about now for April 1st.
we should.
But I've been thinking about not doing it because of the wind, the heat, no water.
Right.
They can burn longer in the fall. Once we got water and everything.
If
Maybe
we
ain't
get-
wind blowing by then, I don't know.
Well,
Give them a little bit longer burn period.
look a few more weeks. Let's see, May, we don't know what May's gonna bring.
Yeah. Well, after they're done up here, we should be. We'll see what, we're gonna see what, we plan ahead in the next couple months here.
Yeah.
Check it out. Okay. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Appreciate it.
Oh, I do have one question for, you don't have to come back up, but on that globe valve that you used on the pipe wrench, do you know when that was placed?
When that was what?
Do you have any idea when that valve was put in? I'm guessing it's
That one probably put in right same time as
the
tank.
tank. And
Back
it's
in
probably
1978.
Probably never been cycled.
That one was-
These.
Well, Buddy said they used it once when they had that break along that slope. He said, it took us a long time, he said, but we finally got it closed. But other than that, I don't know, but I don't even know when that broke either.
Do we have plan on replacing that valve?
That's our
No.
only shut off to the tank.
Don't we
so-
got a place in between? That we can. That'd be something that we ought to be doing.
Yeah,
maybe.
when you do well 6 in the transmission line. so
Okay.
Right in there. Well, you can probably just, have somebody come in and hot tap one in. Just dig it up. Hot tap it right there by the, rather than tearing it all apart. Just dig it up by that,
Uh-huh.
by that vault. And hot tap one in. You can hot tap. There's a company out of Utah that does it. They just hot taps it. And the pressure and everything. I've had them done on several water lines out on the reservation. Cause I couldn't isolate it to. I needed to keep the water running for the people. I just brought them in and hot tapped it.
I just figured it's probably never been exercised and it's just been in the open state for
Yeah.
40 plus years. And so when it's time to close it, and you need it.
I mean, it wasn't close. I mean,
Almost
8 turns
50.
and that's quit, man.
Yeah.
And I was using pipe wrench. 36-inch pipe wrench. It's like, I'm tired of that.
Well, when that stem breaks, you're gonna go flying.
Yeah, that stem break, is like, well, I ain't gonna break it, cause all that stem is just brass.
Yeah.
I'm about ready to pop another.
You're gonna, and you'll learn how to fly real quick when it snaps.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Anything else? Down to expired business license, if I'm not missing anything. A, new business, expired business license. Is Kim online wanting to address that or? Yes, she is.
Or not. Well, basically, we got 2 licenses that were identified by Melissa, one being having not been renewed for 4 years. And then another one that was 2 years old. And so I know the council's discussed about handling that in the past, making them pay up in arrears. What the penalty fee is. Turn up speaker, please. Not been renewed for. So. Those are 2 options we have, but Ms. Marshall has another thought.
Yeah.
Enforcing the business license if they stay open for business. What practical ramifications does the town have at its disposal to address it besides that?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd have to put a little bit of thought into the rears, but yeah, they're gonna have to pay. I mean, were they given notice previously
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've been sent letters numerous times,
over the last 4 years? Or,
periodically, yeah, it's so documented.
yeah, so if they haven't paid and you've been giving them notice, I think you have the ability to shut them down if they don't pay.
Okay, the question be shut them down. Uh. If they don't comply, then they could be fined. Correct?
Yes, whatever the statutes have,
Okay.
or ordinances, but I don't think that they can operate without a license.
I did, Chris. I did talk to the business that has been in arrears for 4 years. And they said they were gonna call and talk to Kim. They
Yeah,
made a commitment to me to pay within 2 weeks all the arrears. And get current to their I think their last pay was what, 2022, so 23, 24, 25, and then the current year would be 2026.
and my understanding was they said they'd try to have it paid in the next couple of months.
Okay, what I,
Couple weeks.
You You're off. You need to turn your speaker up, you have really bad feedback.
Okay.
So is that correct? It's a couple of weeks.
okay, that was what I was told was 2 weeks, and then I told that individual to talk to Kim about it. Cause that's really her. You know, but I went down there and talked to the one business owner, and I didn't get the other ones, but I did go down there. Said, hey, you're in arrears, you're gonna be talking about the council. You know, what are you gonna do about this? And the person apologized and said, give me a couple of weeks, asked how much, and I gave him the number that our clerk treasurer gave to me, and he said, well, give me 2 weeks, we'll pay it. But if they don't pay, but we need, I guess, I looked at the statutes, I didn't, it's a misdemeanor, so we have a limit of 750, but I don't see where we addressed, I was trying to read. I didn't see where we addressed what the fine, or cause some think we address. That we got a minimum fine and another fine, and if it's a third time, but it did say that they couldn't get the current business license until they paid all the arrears. That was in the arrears is in our ordinance. It did state that.
Right.
But that does mention penalty, but it doesn't say what the penalty is. So I think right now we're interested in getting the arrears paid. And get them back in. It's current. I think. But we may need to in the future address the penalty if they don't pay. I believe they're given maybe the end of February to pay. Their business license expired, but they got a December 31st, but they have a grace period, I believe. Maybe to the end of February sometime. But I did take a glance at that.
And on the other one, I don't know what the status of that one is.
But if I'm given the name, I'll try to reach out to them tomorrow and give them the same courtesy. I had the one that was 4 years in, counting this year, 4 years behind.
Expire December 31st, delinquent if not renewed before February 1st.
February 1st, it's the first, yep, okay, I knew February.
It shall not be renewed unless they pay the delinquency in the amount as set by the governing body. In addition to the renewal license fee, a penalty for the delinquency in the amount as set by the governing body.
Yeah.
Which we didn't vote on that. We had a consensus of just get caught up.
Right, yeah, Cause I couldn't see anywhere in our ordinances where we set up a fine for that.
If they fail and fail and fail, then what? They're operating a business without a license. Marshall, is there
And
any step to take at that point?
the clerk shall refuse the issuance of a license that have become delinquent, unless such licensee shall pay the penalty. The clerk by ordinance can't issue it until the penalty's paid.
You'll have to take a look, but I believe you have the ability to shut them down. They don't have a license.
And how would, if we shut them down, other than taking them, fining them, we send a PD down there and put a lock on their door?
Well, you'd have to have hearings and stuff, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you'd end up,
It could end up being that.
yeah. Yeah, we'd have to go through the actual process and procedures and probably have a hearing, but ultimately, yeah. You'd take steps to actually
Okay,
get an order that they no longer operate because they're in violation of the town ordinance and. Then if they continue operating after that, then they'd be in criminal contempt.
okay.
So. But yeah, it wouldn't be just Chris going down. We'd actually have.
Right.
We'd have to have a hearing and show that they're in violation.
Sure.
Yep.
So it sounds like for now,
Trying to find the cost of the license.
$35.
$35.
Right. It was 25, and I think 2 years ago we raised it to
You're talking
35.
about.
So I mean, the
$140.
issue's like $100.
Yeah, $145.
Over the years, yeah.
It's not thousands. I'm just.
No.
No,
Plus
no.
whatever the
Right.
rears cost is that.
Well, yeah, so 4 years of $35. $140.
that
Well,
gives
there's
that
3
gives you
years of
current.
25 and 2 years of 35. So it's
Also, it's even
145.
cheaper now,
So
yeah.
it's 145 counting for, yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Hmm.
I'll just make sure I was not mistaken that it's really not. Maybe they're too cheap and that's why people forget to pay them. Nobody forgets about property taxes.
Yeah.
Well. Being facetious.
Yeah. In any event, that's something we might take up in the future.
So we're down to,
To address fees if they're late.
we're down to 2 businesses that are not. I guess at what point do we want to schedule a hearing? More than 2 weeks if they say they'll be squared away in 2 weeks.
Well, when I purchased my business license, she said there was others, but these were the most. Something or another outstanding. She said there was many others that are still operating that are performing work within the town. Or. Operating currently in the town. That have. Failed to meet.
Wonder, is
or
that
failed
some,
renewal?
is that some vendors that don't have storefronts in Shoshoni that come in and do?
I didn't ask. I didn't ask who it was, what type of issue she had just. When I got my business license, she kind of gave me a lowdown of making sure if you don't renew, then you know, aren't operating. And if you're operating, you're renewing, and just kind of gave me the black and white do's and don'ts, if you will.
Do you have a other number than just 2, Chris, or?
Just those two are the biggest ones. There's some other ones, but it's only March now, so I'll have to get with Melissa and see if there's.
There might be some that hasn't renewed for this year.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not as old type situations.
Oh, yeah, one's 4 years, one's 2 years, so this year's the current year, they'd be on. Cause the one that's 2 years, it's last year and this year they haven't.
And I recall him saying there was one that had never obtained a license.
What would the hearing look like? Just if we pursued the hearing for the businesses with operating without a license? What would be the process on that? I mean, can we do like one big hearing and subpoena everybody on the list not current?
Yeah. Yep.
And it said specifically the penalties to be set forth by the council, that would have to be, penalty would have to be great enough at that point to cover our attorney fees. Court costs and all that. So I wonder if we should visit sending out a letter, you can pay her, $50 by end of April. But middle of May, there'll be a hearing that you're subpoenaed to.
Informative demand letter. Or this is what's gonna happen. I think that's fair.
But they're not exorbitantly expensive.
No.
No. If you can't afford to renew that, you probably can't afford to be in business. B. Pro ten B.
What?
I said pro ten B.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe if we visit this the first meeting in April, everybody's not paid, we mail them a letter in April. Have a court date set in May.
That's fair.
I mean, I don't wanna harass anybody, but it's 25 bucks, 35 bucks.
Oh, that's it, yeah, but
Okay, 16B, moving along,
so.
whatever that was.
It's the selecting of a WAM delegate for voting purposes at WAM. Everyone sent it to us here last week, so not much of a heads up on it. That's why it appeared in this manner. She needs it back by April. Well, it's in the email, I guess. Anyway, so it's just selecting a delegate who does have the voting power at the summer convention in June.
I'm not in charge now. So I make a motion that we have Mayor Heisman be our voting delegate at the WAM.
Have a motion. Councilman Stetler, to appoint the mayor as the voting delegate at WAM convention this June. I have a second.
Second.
And second by Councilman Whitener. Discussion.
Is it just one delegate? Is it more than one?
It's just one.
Just one.
For the June deal, they should.
I don't plan on being there, so probably important to
How
have
about
somebody
you?
that's there.
What?
Oh, you going?
No. I
Kinda
can't,
ne-
I can't get off.
I
I'm too
know.
short-handed.
So it's probably the most beneficial, that's somebody that's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Which is probably you.
Typically, it's the mayor.
For most municipalities.
Yeah. Any further, Mark Nordine may go also, he's didn't make the last one, but he goes sometime. In any event. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor say aye.
I.
Aye.
One secondary to that, there's also designating an alternate delegate in case.
In case the one doesn't come.
Yep.
That was Nordine.
So just,
Jim Morton, because
Oh, we had already.
you already
it.
passed
Oh,
it, so
yeah.
you'll have to
I'll
do
bring the
another
other
motion.
motion passed on the affirmative.
I move that we have Councilman Nordine be the alternate when
Second,
voting delegate.
Moved by Councilman Center, second by Councilman Whitener, that Councilman Nordine is the alternate delegate for the land convention. Any further discussion? Then being all in favor, say aye.
aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion passed, all affirmative. Uh, Do you have anything, Councilwoman Hartkey? We are at roundtable.
No,
Councilman, that or nothing. Councilman Whitener. Want to talk about the airport? We're all good, or anything that needs to none?
I don't,
Councilman,
I don't think there's anything there other than we got a possible groundwork outlining what is do's and don'ts to be I don't know if it's the right terminology of it, but that's what I got.
we're gonna just address a policy. Do we want to address that at our next meeting, sort of? Make sense?
Yeah.
Jordan put together a really good plan. I think we're gonna tweak it just a little bit. And that way we can get on to our people that have contracts and get it to them in a relatively timely manner. That makes sense? We on page with that? Like, we don't have to vote. I'm just bringing that up to me. Yeah.
We got it out in the packet, read through it and
Yeah.
pass it at our next meeting.
Okay, that'll sort of be a plan. Well, we're not voting on it, but I just sort of consensus. Good. Nothing else. It's Councilman Nordine. Is he still on?
Yeah.
Councilman Nordine, would you like to talk about the shooting range or anything?
The next thing on the shooting range is Joel and me getting together because he has some ideas that he wanted to talk to me about. And unfortunately, I had been kind of out of commission since last Wednesday, so
Yeah.
I'm coming back though. I am coming back, but
It's good to see you and hear you.
yeah, it's good to be alive. So, and Tammy, it was not a problem, just so you know. The and then the other thing is, we had talked about working on the strategic plan and something that, and having a workshop scheduled, and that hasn't been done yet. I don't know what a good date for that would be. That was what the suggestion was. I'm just keeping it on the radar. So with next thing with that is schedule a workshop to go through it and kind of crunch through it. So anyway, that's it. Short for me tonight.
Uh. Senior housing, I'd like to, in talking about senior housing, we lost a long time resident, passed away. Here last week, well, more, was in senior housing. I've known Lyle for approximately 50 years. I first met him. I think it was over 50 years, but any event, so that was sudden unexpected loss, or anyway on my side, I wasn't expecting that. And really, my prayers with his family. And he has local families, still here, and any event. He's gonna talk about senior housing prior to that anyway, but we do have currently 2 apartments that are vacant. Lyle's will probably be vacant by next month. I think they're gonna be cleaning things out here in the near future. Kim may have a better grasp on what that's doing than I do. If she'd like to speak on that. If she available, I mean. Make it we can communicate.
Don't know if I'm going to have feedback. Do I have feedback?
No, you're good.
Okay. So right now where we stand with the open units, we have two, then we have Lyle's. They just cleaned this, they were supposed to have just cleaned the stuff out of his apartment. And then next door, Mandy, she currently is in Casper. They're going to pay for the month of April. But after April, that will make our fourth apartment that's going to be open. So we really need to probably see if Tanel maybe and Stacy can get the apartments, the two previous ones cleaned up so that we can start getting these rented. We did put together a public notice so that we can run that in the Riverton Ranger. And Joel, I think you were going to talk about the rent. And that's what I was holding off on for putting it in the Ranger.
No, yep, one. You want me to speak, Kim?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. It's, couple things. You know. Do we wanna keep our rent on future, have nothing to do with current tenants, we have contracts in. Do we wanna stay at that $650 a month is one of the things. And also, if we not getting seniors to move in. Would we have interest in renting to single people or people without children or something that would sort of could fit in with our seniors? Say someone over 40, if that would be an option we should consider. And we're also on that one apartment, one looked pretty good. But someone had been there lots of years of smoke, we may have to repaint that. Probably have to go with kills, get rid of the smoke. Because it is, even Kim said, whoa, made her eyes water when we walked in, and it looked clean and nice. But it definitely needs to get rid of that odor, and that may need repainted to make it rentable. So, but those are things that we might kick around on what we're doing.
I don't think we should be letting people that aren't senior citizens in there. Cause you're gonna end up with probably somebody wanting to party.
Well,
And how do you think that's gonna go over in there?
well, I think we can put restrictions that,
I mean, I could see handicapped people in there, but not just a young single.
well, that's, I think through a screen, I had a landfill for a lot of years, and you can screen relatively good. And, but I don't know if we could limit that. Me and Marshall, I haven't had a chance to talk. We could limit it to, you have to be 40 years old and no children, if we can do that legally. I don't know what we can do legally.
Yeah, I'll take a look. I think you can possibly put some restrictions like that on there.
And, and I had, you can have after 10 o'clock, no noise, and to put stuff in your lease that protects the landlord and the neighbors. Cause I've had to,
Do we have anybody currently on the waiting list?
no,
Cause there used to always be somebody. on the
yeah,
waiting
this is the
list.
first time that I've known this to be an issue and
I think we should put it out in the paper and see what we get hit on for senior citizens
well,
first.
I think we haven't hit the paper. That's what we're fixing
Well,
to
that's
do.
what I'm saying. Let's try that first.
Well, I think that's what we're gonna do. But I think we need to be looking at options, and this is. But that's exactly what we're gonna do. But we also. Do we wanna stay, right now, we're $6.50 a month, all utilities paid. Do we wanna stay at the $6.50 a month, all utilities paid?
And run it in the newsletter through the senior center.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, we'll put it in the mayor's letter, we'll advertise it all over. But do we wanna stay at the $6.50 a month? That's another
I
question.
think that's fair. If it's some reason, if they do move over here, they gotta drive to town every day. If they're gonna do something. What are you thinking? Raise it?
I was thinking 700 or $7.50 a month is still really, really cheap with all utilities paid. If looks what it costs to rehab those buildings and stuff we need to do in the future, it's a thought. I just wanted to bring it up.
I think we all want to keep it as low as we can while keeping it sustainable.
Now, that's exactly what we should do.
And so if the recommendation from the administrator of that senior centers to,
Senior housing.
or senior housing, pardon me, thank you, is to raise that, keep it sustainable, then I guess we would have to seriously consider that, but if the administrator, because it is, who's Kim is admit, so if she feels that it needs to be raised to keep it sustainable, I mean, the lowest amount that can be sustainable, that's what I want it to be, but if it has to go up to be sustainable, so it doesn't have to go away, we'll do what we have to do, is my position.
I agree.
I take the same stance. If it's justified to be increased due to
Okay,
utilities and everything under the sun, then I think it's more than enough merit to increase it. If it's not needed to be increased because it's sustainable the way it is, then I don't think we need to fix something that's not broke.
I agree.
That's my position.
So we'll look at that and come up with.
As far as
Come with
age,
numbers.
as far as age limit. Based off of the current rent. It's almost becoming low income housing. Which I get, that's kind of what it's designed to be, but. That's for the senior citizens that. Are on a fixed income. Maybe not somebody that's in their 40s that can pay. More or is able to give a job to. Pay what they need to pay, so. Regarding that, I think age is, I'd like to see it be. The way it currently is. Because I'm afraid if it's that cheap of rent and at the 40-year-old mark. You're liable to find yourself no matter how much screening you do. Maybe you go 9 out of 10 renters that are good, but it's the one that's not, and so.
Wouldn't be opposed to seniors or disabled. Too, I mean, if somebody's got a disability. That would be a need.
Depends on the disability, may not be, I don't know. We don't have ramps into her. I don't know if the doors are wide enough, you know what I mean?
And then we start opening ourselves up to stuff like.
Right.
The ADA situation.
I mean, so.
that gets expensive and we don't have the money to invest.
And we ought to be able to put income stipulations on if we rented it to someone that was 40 years old. Or 50, or our current, we're 55 years old, I believe, is the minimum age. I'm pretty sure that's correct.
55,
Pardon?
55.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. That's the current age, so. Any event, I wanted to bring that up because we're fixing to have four open and we've always had a waiting list.
Yeah.
So, any event that's kind of where we're at with that. Just briefly touch on cardiopulmonary. We're still moving forward on that, working with the governor's office and the business council. Had a meeting yesterday in Riverton, and Josh is up here, the CEO of the business council, and Patrick Edwards, our rep. And anyway, we're still trying to move forward on that. We're trying to see what federal money and state from the Department of Health funding out of a great big beautiful bill. We may be able to get some funding, hopefully a lot of funding towards that. So we're full steam ahead working that funding's the governor veto and line item veto stood up, and so that funding's still available at least for another year with the business council, and BRC program's still alive. So optimistic we're going to be able to put something together towards that. So that's Chris and I were working together on developing some land sales and been working with the power company, and we got a work order in that so we can get some lots for sale out there in that. And Chris and I are going to meet with the business council and rural development Friday and discuss issues with them on. Patrick thinks he might be able to help us with to get our water in that subdivision. That was a big thing. That was the big cost. So we're gonna look at options with that. Other than that, wanted to mention the Desert Inn is open.
Nice.
They don't have internet till next week, but they do have some rooms rented. And I met with the manager. They seen it was open yesterday, so last night, so I swung by, see an open sign on it. They don't have their big sign working yet, but they're trying to get it together. Said the owner was supposed to be up tonight. So anyway, that's hopefully moving along. That's a good thing. Now I don't have, I think. I probably could talk for another hour, but I didn't entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion. Adjourn.
Been moved by Councilman Hunky to adjourn. Can I find a second anywhere?
Second, I'll do it. Yeah.
Hey!
There's Mark.
Councilman Stedler was first, but you were definitely the loudest. Councilman Stedler second. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposes, same. Motion passed, all affirmative, 8:29 PM. Thank you, everybody, for